Chuck. Tingle. Chuck. Tingle. Chuck. Tingle. Chuck. Tingle.
Hello, I'm Fiona Bruce, and welcome to
the Chuck Tingle Book Club.
Oh, yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Lord Justice Robert Walker. Wu-Tang is forever. Oh, hello. Hello, howdy and how do, and welcome back to another edition of the Chuck Tingle Book Club, brought to you by the fine, really got fine grit on that, boys at the Pot Topic podcast. As ever on this show, we will do a little looky-loo into one of the contemporary classics of modern master Chuck Tingle, and then we'll do a bit of a deep dive, an analysis through the lens of the immortal science of love. As ever, I am your resident Chuckademic Taz, and with me, I got this guy.
Hello, I'm Tom. I bring you the Tomnopsis, the synopsis, before we go into Taryn's analysis. So let's get cracking.
Yep.
So this week we have Pharma Bro Pounded in the Butt by T-Rex comedian Bill Murky and a clan of Triceratops rappers trying to get their album back. I'm just going to push my teeth back in. Okay, there we go. This is a tough title.
I'm definitely not regretting my decision to say the title in full every time I mention it.
See, I think a bit should be that you just do like the first letter and just sound it out, like This Morning with Richard Not Judy's Toowoomba. Like,
welcome to an analysis.
Exactly. So anyway, let's go.
Let's do it.
Marky Sharky, as he's colloquially known in the business world, loves being hated billionaire pharma bro that started Buttscription Drugs, a big pharma powerhouse that made huge profits buying hundreds of drug patents just to jack the prices up. Yeah. Much to his surprise, the world really turned on him when he price gouged the fuck out of a drug used to treat blind orphan children and kittens who suffered unbearable pain 24 hours a day. Look at them. This is just before they get taken away to the gas chamber.
That's why there's a...
That's Shkreli, Sharky right there. I mean, in his defence, they will pay a lot of money to be out of constant pain. And he's got all his investors to think about. On a quick side note, just quickly
somebody think of the investors.
Just a quick little side note, I thought about the kittens a little bit too hard. I just had the horrible realisation that cats reach sexual maturity around 4 to 6 months and die around 12 to 18 years. But most will stop being able to reproduce about 10-ish. Therefore, most cats are orphans by the time they're 6.5. 6.5, 6 3/4. So I don't know why that makes me feel so dramatically empty inside.
I don't know that orphanhood is a concept familiar to the feline race.
Well, I tell you what,
but hey, I don't know.
I'm literally about to leave this recording and go pick up Seal's cats from our old housemate. Cat sit for a month. So I'll try explaining it to them and see if they cry, and I'll get back to you. So anyway, let's get back to the synopsis. So, Marky's biggest hobby is making money and destroying other people's lives. But he does have another passion, music. And he's the proud owner of a one-of-a-kind album from his favourite Triceratops rap group, the Wu-Tang Clan. I'm going to struggle to say Wu-Tang Clan every time, just so you know. I'm going to say Wu-Tang at least a few times. Marky's lawyer, Jorpo, calls, to which Marky is grateful just to hear someone's voice. But of course, a lawyer calling is never good news. Apparently, there's a stipulation in the Wu-Tang Clan contract that they hadn't taken seriously. And I quote, "The Wu-Tang Clan have one opportunity to take it back without any repercussions. If they can pound the owner's ass good enough, they are obligated to return the record." Mark scoffs at the idea, and the U are coming through, and they're being all through tea. But Jorpo explains it's not gay, it's just a legal exchange. And they're on their way over right now. Bang, bang, bang goes the door. Don't let them seduce you, Jorpo helpfully adds. Marky hangs up the phone and opens the door. Enter the handsome Triceratops rap outfit. Marky is taken aback by their good looks and also by the presence of the legendary T-Rex comedian and actor Bill Murky. Marky questions why Bill is here, and it is a simple case of Tingle's razor. So that's the rule that I pointed out last week.
It's a Tingle razor, all right?
Yeah, where I defined that if a statement's illogical but self-evident, then accept as the truth as long as it gets on with the story.
Yeah.
So,
well, you've this is the second razor. The first razor comes when Marky asks, "Say, well, I didn't get that they were gay," and it's like, "Well, they're not gay." And it's like, "Well, why would they want to? Why would they stipulate to pound butts if they don't want to pound butts?" And Jorpo, the lawyer, just hand waves it by going, "Yeah, musicians and artists and mysterious beings."
Yeah, exactly.
Again, Tingle razor story.
Yeah, this one is. We're here to get the album back, he says. You're part of this too. You're part of this too? I question. Is that really in the contract? The dinosaur nods. But why? I continue. Why not? Bill Murky counters and then takes a long drag from his cigar and puffs it into the air. I suppose he has a point. It's one of my favourite things to point out to myself. I'm just glad I gave it a name recently because it just makes me giggle every time. Okay. Bill suggests they all enjoy a cigar by the pool and see what happens. Even as a straight man, he's attracted to the boys, but a $2 million album is a $2 million album and he's not giving it up. However, and this is a quote again, however, there is more blood rushing to his slowly enlarging cock than to his brain. So he agrees. And that, is in the book. They go to the pool. Bill calls Marky a dickbag for his business ethics, but Marky realises Bill understands him to his core and so admits he's lonely and only hurts people to make them as miserable as he is. Bill says that's fucked up, and Marky begins to weep. Bill starts to comfort Marky. Marky gets hard. Marky makes a play for Bill, but Bill doesn't want anything to do with his evil ass, but he'll pound it just to get the record back. And as Lord said in Genesis 1:24, and lo, with many dino gangbangs, so we cometh to the pleasure zone, baby. Claws all over him, strip him off. Fuck yeah, pound me like the evil fuck toy that I am. All the dino shafts rubbing against his body in a hurricane of reptile dick. Again, quote. Marky on his knees sucks them all off, quick and enthusiastic validation of their legal binding calls. Tries for a deep throat, gags, tries again, wins and winks. Theme. Double-handed dong wank off whilst hilt deep in the gob. Begs for a bumming on the chaise lounge, accepting the deal. Get over here and pound my tight evil billionaire arsehole. Rim tease, follows penetration, follows yelp, follows adjust to size, follows pleasant pleasure sensation all over the body. Theme. Marky starts a dirty talking diatribe, how it's described in the book, but is forced to be stopped when another dinosaur shoves the cock down his gob. Rough spit roast ensues, but Marky loves being their sex toy and is getting more and more turned on the rougher and rougher they get. I've been a bad little billionaire. I deserve to be punished. Change places! They all move over.
Change places!
I thought you might have to do that. Blossoming prostate orgasm but denied. Theme. One of the dinosaurs sits on the chaise lounge, flattening it to the ground, and tells him to get on. Fuck yes, I scream, the sensation of prostate orgasm boiling up within me once more. Oh my god, that contractually binding dino dick is so fucking good. Fuck me, make me my ownership of a one-of-a-kind rap album void. Great line. Bill comes in from behind with a double DP butt fuck out of nowhere. Anger turns to lusty snarl as three of them find a rhythm together, pulsing in some strange dinosexual hybrid. I'm coming, I scream. The album is yours. Dinos keep going. Bill is the second to blat. But Dino 2 pulls out spunks all over Marky's arse. The next two dinosaurs, 3, 4, and 5, I presume at this point, I'm trying to keep track, uses this as a lube and then double A him again. Dino 4 jizzes. Next dino goes in. Marky loses track as they all pound his arse 2 by 2. Hurrah, hurrah. And Marky takes the last load in his mush like a good little farmer boy. The dinos spent, go to leave. Bill takes the record as Marky cries out after them, "But wait, don't you love me? Was it really all about the record? I thought we already had something." "Sorry," he says, "it's just business." No! Slam. Man, we're done.
And with that, yeah, let's get on to it could be a sad ending, could be something else entirely. But let's have a look, shall we? In a little something I like to call Pharma Bro Pounded in the Butt by T-Rex comedian Bill Murky and a clan of Triceratops rappers trying to get their album back. And an anal assist.
Oh, yeah.
We're here to discuss the story of a rich piece of shit getting gushingly stretched out by a bunch of dinosaurs on a cum caper. This should be a simple ride, right? We explore the background that inspired the story, explore the themes that run throughout, and have ourselves a jolly old time, pip, pip, what, done before we're halfway through our chocolate milks. Hurrah! Or it would be, except that we run into an apparent contradiction between the events of this Tingler and Tingle's own love is real philosophy. Prior to the pounding, the titular Bill Murky informs our antagonist that, "I don't want anything to do with your evil ass, but I'll sure pound it to get that record back." Then, as the dinosaurs are hot-footing it out the gaff with the album, our antagonists asks if all the sex he's just enjoyed was only about the album, and we're left with the closing lines. "Sorry," Bill Murky says, "it's just business." No! I cry.
You gave it a bit more welly than I did.
I cry out, falling to my knees and throwing my head back in a painful scream of true loss. Bill Murky steps outside and closes the door behind him, leaving me all alone in my giant, empty mansion. It's already difficult to see where love may come into any of this. But to complicate matters further, as recently as February of this year, Chuck has publicly asserted, "Pounding of one's butt is not real punishment or some bad thing, it is act of joy. Thanks, buds. While devils have been pounded in Tinglers, this is a consensual and positive experience on their path to being a buckaroo. Tinglers are never about pounding something you don't like. They are a commentary that involves a consensual encounter during this journey." I don't know about you, but I didn't get the impression that Bill Murky and the Wu-Tang clan particularly like today's Chuck antagonist. Nor is it immediately apparent how the closing moment is particularly positive or consensual. However, Pharma Bro Pounded in the Butt by T-Rex comedian Bill Murky and a clan of Triceratops rappers trying to get their album back was released back in 2015, making it one of Chuck's earlier works. There might be a temptation then to unwave the inconsistency as being an artifact of authorial growing pains. Except, Chuck has always been pretty focused on his mission to prove love, and I suspect that glossing over this apparent contradiction would also mean that we would be missing the point somewhat. Now, I don't want to shock anyone or make anyone uncomfortable, but in order to understand how this all fits together, how, and I quote, "a painful scream of true loss could possibly prove that love is real," well, we are just gonna have to do the science. God, that was lame.
That was really drawn out, man. The anticipation was killing me.
I don't know what, but I just lost the arms. So, any thoughts so far, Tom?
No, I think you're quite right. I think that the idea of it being Well, it's completely consensual, but it
The
being
sex is completely consensual,
he is
but
not.
that
He's not redeemed. There is no redemption arc here. He's just left in his suffering at the end. So
it's that moment where love is kind of stripped away and he's left in agony. That's the bit that doesn't seem particularly positive or consensual. So
exactly.
we'll be getting to that. But first, I think it's important that we explore a little bit behind it as we get into part one, in which reality is stranger than fiction. Except that it isn't really, but then it kind of is again. First things first, context is key. Unless you spent 2015 as a bacterial mat in a Mexican cave somewhere, scarfing down hydrogen sulfide and pissing out acid, you've probably got a good idea where Chuck found his inspiration for this Tingler. But it's worth going over because, honestly, it's a pretty wild story. Even wilder when you consider this all happened before the death of David Bowie. The event that experts genuinely agree is the point at which reality began unzipping itself. In Pharma Bro pounded in the butt by T-Rex comedian Bill Murky and the clan of Triceratops rappers trying to get their album back, our Chucktagonist is one Marky Sharky. He is a hated pharmaceuticals exec whose company brought a drug used to treat kittens and blind orphans in, and I quote, constant brain-melting pain, and then raised the price from $3 to $400 a pill. This obviously made him quite unpopular. Marky Sharky is also the owner of the sole copy of an album by the Wu-Tang Clan, an album that was bought under a contract which includes a stipulation once the one-of-a-kind album is sold to the highest bidder, the Wu-Tang Clan have one opportunity to take it back without any repercussions. If they can pound your ass good enough, then you are obligated to return the record. When the Triceratops rap clan turn up to make good their attempt, they are joined by T-Rex comedian and actor Bill Murky, who joins the effort because, and I quote, why not? Meanwhile, September 2015, our timeline. Cheering Pharmaceuticals CEO Martin Shkreli is roundly condemned after it's revealed that his company has raised the price of the anti-parasitic and pneumonia-preventing AIDS medication, Daraprim, from $13.50 to $750 a pill. Then, in December the same year, it was revealed that Martin Shkreli was the anonymous buyer who won the auction for the sole copy of Wu-Tang Clan's 7th studio album, Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, which came with a contractual obligation to be kept from public consumption for 88 years. Two things happened in response to this revelation. Firstly, Wu-Tang's RZA donated to charity a hefty portion of the alleged $2 million Shkreli paid for the album. Secondly, news outlets began reporting from a single source on a stipulation in that contract. The buying party also agrees that at any time during the stipulated 88-year period, the seller may legally plan and attempt to execute one heist or caper to steal back Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, which, if successful, would return all ownership rights to the seller. Said heist or caper can only be undertaken by currently active members of the Wu-Tang Clan and or actor Bill Murray with no legal repercussions.
I forgot the wording was so brilliant.
So we found ourselves in a position where a man who Vanity Fair described as Wall Street's most visible villain, and who himself, Shkreli, claimed that he wanted to be the world's heel, is in possession of a piece of art that a whole fuck ton of people would really like to experience. Then this piece of news turns up, which not only offers a ray of hope that the art could be removed from the villain, but also hints at a potential reality where the goddamn Wu-Tang Clan and Bill fucking Murray could team up to achieve this. Understandably, imaginations around the world are captured by this unlikely confluence of a near-as-damn-it actual comic book villain, legendary hip-hop outfit, and a doyen of comedy. Twitter thrummed with calls to get a movie version of this hypothetical heist greenlit post-haste. And why not? A concept this ridiculous almost writes itself, right? It's almost like it's too good to be true. So, if this is as far as you got in following this fat steamed ham of American cultural weirdness, I get it. But it's at this point I have to say that if you like your reality the way it is, maybe take a lap and rejoin us in a couple minutes. Not you, Tom. You're staying right here, buddy. So limber up and steel yourself for the buckaroo's elbow from the top rope. Can you smell?
Down, your mic's cutting out.
I have gently.
Okay, your mic's cut out.
What I have gently reheated in this Word document. That went better in rehearsal.
Yeah, it did. The mic completely cut out when you got loud.
Yeah, I think I accidentally fingered the mute button a couple of times.
Lovely.
But Tom, can you smell what I have gently reheated in this Word document?
No, I'm completely confused right now.
No, I wouldn't have thought so, because it's a fundamental concept of contract law, and legal fiction is, as far as I know, entirely odorless. Although any synesthesiacs out there, like, holler at if there is in fact a smell or a colour to it. Anyway,
Post in the comments below.
You put it down there, folks. Anyway, the fundamental legal concept is this. In order for a contract to be legally enforceable, all terms of that contract must not contravene federal or state law. So any contract that would permit, encourage, or enforce conspiracy to and enactment of breaking and entering, property damage, theft, or any other heisty shit is straight up no fucking contract at all. Considering we're talking about an allegedly $2 million contract, we can assume it would have percolated through a whole mess of lawyers. This would lead you to the only logical conclusion: the Wu-Tang Murray caper stipulation is, unfortunately, utter hogshit. The sole source of this stipulation was so breathlessly reported on by news media, it was in fact just one single tweet by one Rob Wesley. Naturally, I was curious to see who this guy was and what he was about, and his Twitter bio was perhaps the single most helpful thing I've encountered in quite some time. Rob Wesley, who has a little over 3,000 followers, is just, to quote his bio in full, some guy on Twitter. Mwah! Oh, yeah, sacre bleu, c'est magnifique! So there's some guy on Twitter who's likely seen Wu-Tang's RZA and Jizza star alongside Bill Murray in Jim Jarmusch's film Coffee and Cigarettes. He then made one joke about that unlikely pairing and the Once Upon a Time in Shaolin situation, and we barely questioned it. It was too good to be questioned, but it was also too good to be true. We may have never gotten our real-life Wu-Tang Murray caper to reclaim the world's most expensive album from the moment's most villainous man. But because reality can be dang weird anyway, we did at least get two things out of it. We got today's Tingler, and I've frozen, haven't I?
Yeah, just a bit. Let me just turn off your camera and turn it back on. Let's see if that works. Can you do your camera? Oh, Inception. There we go. We're good.
Hello. Oh,
hello.
But am I laggy now? Oh,
No,
well,
you're good.
well.
You're good.
Cool. We did get two things out of the Wu-Tang Murray caper stipulation. The first is today's Tingler, and the second, I shit you not, we got an off-Broadway musical called Martin Shkreli's Game, and
What?
I can't. Yeah, for real, man. It got entered into a competition and everything. I can't find any footage of it, but my God, I want to watch this shit.
Fucking hell,
it's a dramatization.
Yeah, amazing.
Oh man, hey, throw us the script. I will read that shit. In many of the ways, but off-Broadway aside, in many ways, the events of Pharma Bro pounded in the butt by T-Rex comedian Bill Murky and a clan of Triceratops rappers trying to get their album back presents a less cruel version of the story that played out on our own timeline. The drug that had its price gouged is somewhat different. In the Tingler, the drug is variously treats blind orphans, kittens, and puppies from brain-melting pain. In our world, it treats expectant mothers, their children, AIDS patients, and other immunologically vulnerable people from parasites and pneumonia. The point of Tingle's drug is that the patience is so cartoonishly improbable and over the top that they do the job of conveying how vital the drug is, while keeping the reader locked firmly into the whimsy. The actual price gouge itself is of a different magnitude too. Murky Sharky upped his drug price from $3 to $400 per pill. This is, of course, a ludicrous price hike. Importantly, it's also more than enough to make the point Chuck needed to make. Only a monster or an honest-to-Chucksy villain would do something that gross. Of course, in our timeline, things were much worse, with a hike of $13.50 to $750 per pill. But again, I might suggest that Chuck's lowballing of this gouge does the job it needs to without getting so close to our reality as to create distraction. Finally, the album recovery stipulation is also considerably less severe. Sharky has to consent to enjoy some multi-species dino deep-dicking. Conversely, Shkreli would have had to have had his property both invaded and burgled for the story to complete. In their position, I know which one I'd prefer. Strangely then...
everyone knows which one you'd prefer.
Line up, boys! Let's get me to work. Strangely then, this parody of the Shkreli situation starts off by reining things back in a bit. Rather than exaggerating events for comic effect, Chuck seems to understate things in order to preserve the inherent absurdity of it all, while also setting up a situation that can be resolved with love rather than larceny, which draws us back to the conclusion of this Tingler, wherein Murky Sharky is left wailing and alone in his cold, empty mansion, and we're left with a simple question: does this prove love?
Yeah, that was my overwhelming feeling coming out of the book. Where is the love?
Where is the love? Where is it? It's a fair question, and one I hope I'll answer as we go into. Oh, by the way, any thoughts on
Well, major one. I have no love for Rob Weasley's bio. Wesley's
Do you
bio,
not?
Sorry, no, guy on Twitter.
Do you know what? I was expecting to go in and find that he was a comedian, or he was somebody, because there was a lot of effort. Like he didn't just write out the stipulation of the contract. He kind of made a Word document and then took a screen grab of it.
Yeah.
Made sure the language was fucking on point.
Oh, it's
like there was so much.
beautifully.
There's so much effort that went into it that I assumed that this guy must be something. He must work for someone or like be working on. But no, I get there. It's like, okay, who are you, Rob Wesley? Who the hell are you? And then I check it and go, click, just some guy on Twitter. Fantastic. That's so simple. I love it.
Fair point.
Cool. Shall we crack on?
Absolutely, let's go for it.
Cool. Part 2. Love, Jizz, and Justice.
Right, now I am leaving.
I'll admit it's a little difficult to see how Pharma Bro pounded in the butt by T-Rex comedian Bill Murky and a clan of Triceratops rappers trying to get their album back proves love. How, if you approach it in the most direct, superficial way possible and strip it back to its core conceit, then what you get kinda doesn't. To this point, and just so we're on the same page, the text explains that the Wu-Tang clan are not gay, eliciting this perfectly reasonable question from Sharky. If they don't want to pound butts, then why would they make the fine print about pounding butts? Add to this Bill Murky's immediate precoital assertion that, I don't want anything to do with your evil ass, but I'll sure pound it to get that record back. It certainly seems like, at its core, the narrative conceit is that a bunch of dinosaurs hate fuck a businessman into willingly surrendering his legal property. Well, okay, so not hate fucking him per se. Nothing so powerful as hate is ever mentioned or even suggested. But from Bill Murky's words, the Wu-Tang clan's constant silence, and the way they all immediately leave once they have the album, I think it's fair to say that none of the dinosaurs really want to be there and doing what they're doing. At best, we could point to the fact that Sharky screams, "I'm coming! Oh, the album is yours!" After this, all the dinosaurs hang around, taking their turns emptying themselves in or on our Chucktagonists. They could have just finished up and taken the album there and then, but they don't. Everybody jizz, and then it's album time. We could then perhaps most generously describe the fucking as a deeply ambivalent one. And we could perhaps be even more generous, like pathologically generous, and suggest that this perhaps proves the love of artists for their art. But that doesn't feel good, does it? Especially when that love leaves someone wailing and alone. So let's take a step back and give the whole piece a wider view. Rather than ask what happens in the story, let's ask what the story does. And in order to answer that, we have to be honest with ourselves for a moment. While I've made the point that there's something intrinsically abrasive about Tingler ending with the Chucktagonists wailing and alone, you got to admit there's something real fucking satisfying about it happening to Marky Sharky. I'd argue that that's because it feels good to see someone come to justice. In this example, a billionaire piece of shit gets to take from the vulnerable and have this one-of-a-kind piece of art. Much like Shkreli in our world, none of it feels at all fair. It's not fair that those who rely on the price gouged medicines should have their health and well-being put at risk just to lie in one person's pockets. So it certainly can't be fair then for that one person to use that pocket lining to buy sole access to something that a lot of people want access to. The whole thing is a compound injustice. So of course it feels good and fair and just to see that access removed from the billionaire piece of shit. However, this sliver of retribution is only one facet of the exploration of justice in this Tinkerer. The others are a little more complex than that. We've already covered the closing lines of the story. I would like now to compare this to the opening lines of the story. After several paragraphs of exposition from Marky, the first instance of actual in-the-moment narrative is this. I pick up my phone on the first ring, thrilled that someone has decided to call and break me away from my oppressive loneliness. Hello? I call out, a little too excited, as my voice echoes down the long, empty halls of my cold mansion. We already know about the character's greed. In fact, the entirety of the opening exposition is... I fucking locked up again, haven't I?
Quick reset.
Quick reset.
Inception. There we go. You good?
Oh, must be rough internet today. Very sorry, folks.
Just in time to restart Bark. It's still good.
Yeah, so we already know about the character's greed. In fact, the entirety of the opening exposition is devoted to detailing and rationalizing his greed. But from the very get-go of the narrative, we hear about his loneliness. This is the first of 5 explicit references to his loneliness, no less. Greed and loneliness are the 2 core aspects we see running through the Marky character. Any other of his emotional displays, be it his temper, desperation, or lust, manifest as a result of these 2 primary aspects. But there is a further synthesis of Marky's emotional state as he talks to Bill Murky. I'm just so lonely, I finally admit. I've never had many friends, and now that I'm rich, I try to surround myself with objects to make myself feel better. That didn't work. So I guess I just try to make other people more miserable. The greed and latterly the malicious urge to take and possess is ultimately a manifestation of Marky's loneliness. At the root of everything is Marky's loneliness, driving him on to fill the void it creates. His social life is impoverished, so he enriches his material life. He can't buy friends, so he buys things. He can't be what people want or need, so he buys the things that people want and need instead. Marky is broken down during his chat with Bill Murky. He's exposed and laid bare, left open to the upcoming moment of justice, by which I don't mean him being left alone and waiting. No, I mean the moment after Marky makes this admission about himself. Bill Murky links his loneliness back to the price jacking of vital drugs, and Murky breaks. I can't help it. I actually start to cry right then and there as my heart is flooded with the true understanding of the pain and misfortune I have caused all these people over the... My heart aches, broken into a million pieces, but there is no one to blame but myself. That right there, that's the justice. At its core, that's what most reasonable people accept as the wellspring of true justice. To empathize with your victims, to accept that you have done them wrong, and to feel the shattering shame and remorse that rivals the anger and grief you've created in others. That's the starting point. Without it, any retribution is just base revenge. And base revenge, I'm sure you don't need me to tell you, is about as far from love as you can get. So, we've seen the remorse brought out of Murky, and we've seen the retribution brought upon him by having the Wu-Tang album taken from him. But there is a final aspect to justice worth discussing, one that's too often overlooked and should, this buckaroo would argue, be the sole focus of any system of justice. It's rehabilitation. Murky Sharky's story is one about the ending of a lonely life that's hollowed out by greed, and the beginning of something else altogether. It is the beginning of his rehabilitation into a life or love. Or, as Chuck himself said, while devils have been pounded in Tinglers, this is a consensual and positive experience on their path to being a buckaroo. The point isn't that Murky is left wailing and alone. The point is that he has experienced love. He has been shown what a life filled with love could be, what all the money and greed could never procure him. Naturally, it hurts when this glimpse into this other life is over, but at least now he knows what he has to work towards, and what not to do in order to get there. For someone who is a self-proclaimed genuine spoiled brat, this is a more than generous head start into turning his life around.
Well, congrats. Did you just find a spark of love in a book where it seems to absolutely void? But you're quite right. Like, the point of self-acceptance and remorse for your past actions is it's always darkest before the dawn.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
As Devil Driver told us, the great Des from Devil Driver, it's always darkest before the dawn.
Hallowed be their horns. Yeah, so I had a choice with this. Like, we'll get into it in the scoring, but there was no way this Tingler deserved the 6,000-7,000 words it could have been. So I had to make a choice. In part, do I go into the background the Martin Shkreli stuff, or do I get into some of the reading I had to regarding love and justice? I chose the former because it's more fun, and I'm not actually a philosopher, but you will find down in the flippity gibbet. Yeah, yeah, sure. But you'll find down in the flippity gibbet the links to a couple of the things I read regarding love and justice, and that kind of helped inform where I got. But yeah, you got anything else, or should we get into the conclusion?
No, we should definitely hit that conclusion hard.
Let's hit it hard. When Rob Wesley, just some guy on Twitter, crafted his hoax contract excerpt, it was received pretty uncritically. Even though it suggested something very obviously illegal, people went all in. They wanted to believe it, and I don't think it's because they were just enamored with the idea of a Wu-Tang Marie team-up. I think it's because the tweet tapped into something more atavistic, a drive towards justice and fairness. It's this same vein that Tingle is tapping with Pharma Bro Pound in the Butt by T-Rex comedian Bill Murky and a clan of Triceratops rappers trying to get their album back, which I took a breath before that one. In typical Tingle style, this concept is explored further than a simple, lol, wouldn't it be funny if the rich kid lost his album? Instead, we find a fuller conception of justice being played out. It's a conception that includes the retribution of losing the album, but not without first extolling remorse in the perpetrator and then leaving him with a positive experience as the foundation of his rehabilitation. Is it a little brutal at the very end? maybe, but then Marky Sharky's business dealings haven't been without their own brutality. He may now know remorse for them and have suffered some small retribution, but that doesn't mean he has a clean slate and an easy ride. Not by a long shot. Rehabilitation is a long and difficult process. Earning forgiveness from those you've wronged, perhaps even more so. But you gotta start somewhere, right? And for Marky, that means starting with an arse full of spaff, a nice memory, and a giant empty mansion.
And tale as old as time.
and that's it, really. It's not a clean cut and squidgy as Tinglers usually are, but there are underlying notions of anti-greed and anti-loneliness, and a thrust towards fairness and rehabilitation. And in those ways, at least, does Chuck here prove love is real.
Love is real. Awesome. Oh, wait, we're not at the end of the episode. Sorry. Well done, dude. Very, very good.
Oh, thank you very much.
I was so scared going into this that we wouldn't be able to find love, but we did it. Or you did it.
Oh yeah, give me a month. I can give me enough month and enough time to write. I'll sort it.
In your defense, I think it's only been like a couple of weeks.
Oh, hey!
There we go. We actually turned one round in what we originally designed it was going to be our turnaround time. So that's pretty good. All right. And with that, it's time to think about the maths. Now, we've been plagued with technical difficulties already. And unfortunately, Tingletron has gone because I may have accidentally deleted the image layer on on the recording software. So I have a stand-in.
Is it that shoggoth of kittens behind you?
Nearly. I'm so gonna get cramped, by the way, coming under the desk trying to puppeteer this.
Is your forehead getting its own role?
Hello, I am Tingletron's little cousin, Wally. I heard you talk about willies, and oh, my eyes are going. Hang on.
Let him go, Tom.
I'm standing in for Tingletron 4000 book review scoreboard. All scores are final.
Oh, dude, this is.
I like you.
Hello, little. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name because of the legal problems.
I'm Wall C.
Oh, hello, Wolsey.
I'm getting cramp. I'm getting cramp.
Do it.
How's it going? Anyway, let's score the book. Let's just go.
Let's do it, man. Let's score it. Bye, legally distinct thing that definitely didn't have a logo on your belly.
Oh, fuck. I need to do stretches before this podcasting, clearly. Right. So, yeah, as always, we have had the science. Now it's time for the maths. We are going to score the book based on the old GameSpot review scores from back in the day. So we're going to look at the tingle, that's the cover art. Getting to the tingle, that's the pacing. Giving you the tingle, that's the sexiness. Saving you some tingle, that's the recommendation value. And tingle tilt, reviewer's tilt, that gives us a final 4 score out of 10. All previous scores are out of 5 to 3 decimal places. Okay. So.
Awesome. Yeah.
Looking at the tingle. Now, I quite enjoyed this cover art.
Well, the lad there with his chest out, he certainly looks like he might be a bit of a dickbag.
He is absolutely a farmer wank boy.
He is. But the thing is, like, put him in some dungarees, he could also be a farmer wank boy.
Now, the follow-up is titled Farmer Bro, Powdered in the Butt, by Bill Murray on a tractor. Yeah, I mean...
Well, do the Triceratops particularly look like rappers? Does the T-Rex look like...
They're not exactly dripping with Wu-Tang confidence or anything, are they? So yeah, you're right. Why is one wearing a black and white scarf? God damn it.
And I do like that the mansion, which like its emptiness is mentioned a couple of times. It does feature, but I don't know. The lights make it look a little
this is
too warm.
important. If you look at the hands, these are obviously African American Triceratops, which I like the attention to detail.
Yeah, it's a small attention. I assume reasonably
Representation there.
reasonably straightforward piece of attention to detail. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
You go first.
it's fine. It does the job, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It absolutely does the job. I'm not blown away. I'll give it 2.102.
Yeah.
I think that's reasonable.
I think that's lowballing a little bit. I think it's bang on in the middle, really. So I'm going to go for 2.500.
Okay.
Bang
Yeah,
in
fair.
the middle.
Okay.
So that's 2.301 out of 5. Right, getting to the tingle, the pacing. Now, this one does not hang about. It sets out some lovely character background with the kitten orphan drugs being hiked. It goes straight to a lawyer conversation, straight into a house invasion, really. And then straight into butt fucking by the pool.
Yeah, once that exposition's done, which again, I suppose this doesn't really come up in this part, but when I was reading this, it was one of the few times where I immediately sent you a text going, "This has one of my favorite lines of all time."
Oh yeah, what was that one again?
Which is in the exposition. Hang on, let me just now, don't get me. It's something along the lines. Don't get me wrong. I've got nothing against blind orphans and kittens. I just know that they'll spend a lot of money to not be in constant brain melting pain, which is just mwah.
Yeah, this one has a lot of great lines. Like
It does.
Dino sexual hybrid was just fantastic. A hurricane of reptile dicks. There are a lot of great phrases in there. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to score this one high. I'm going to say at least a 4.203.
In terms of pacing, getting to the tingle, Shazam. Yeah. I think you're. I think you're right. What did you say? Sorry,
4.203.
All right, I'll go 4.202. Yeah.
I'm so glad I've written out the entire formula in brackets, dividing it by 2, which is obviously 4.2025 out of 5. Okay, so gameplay. Oh, sorry, giving you the tingle, sexiness. Okay, I have to say, semi-chub.
I don't like. Sometimes I don't know what's wrong with me. Like if I was to be in the situation, where I was surrounded by a bunch of people who didn't want to be in my presence, but I knew they had to fuck me, or to get whatever they wanted. I think I would be fucking horrified.
Okay,
but reading it,
I honestly thought you were going to say the opposite way round. So that says a lot about. Oh, actually, it says a lot about your persona and the way you put yourself out there. But
reading it, that was a worrying erection. That one. There was definitely a moment of like when I'm reading it, I sort of kind of looked down. I was like, really? This is all right. Okay.
I mean, it had everything.
The knob wants what it wants, I guess.
Years of being desensitized by Pornhub and Kink.com and everything else.
So yeah, I think I'm gonna have to score this one reasonably high. As this was a 3.9 7. 4. Yeah.
Yep, I think that's fine. I'm going to go for a 3.69. Hey, 0.
Yay. Cool.
Get the sex number in there because it's sexy. Right, that's
Gotta get the sex number in there.
3.832 out of 5. So value, saving you some tingle, the recommendation value. This has everything a good tingler should have, apart from the cut and dry finding love and redemption.
Yeah.
But as you say, is the start to probably the character's further story. However, that being said, if you use the canonical evidence of previous tinglers, their existence only exists within the pages of the book, the characters.
Ooh.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay, we're getting... okay, so you're getting metatextual now. Okay, fine.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, previous evidence has literally had books end in a sea of words disappearing and blank pages.
You are not flipping wrong, my friend. But also, all timelines happen together. I like both. This is the thing. I think both things are true. Oh, god damn.
And there he is.
And I'm back. I think both things are true. But it you're right. That ending does make it a little hard to recommend. But yeah,
but it's also good satire because, as you say, you want justice to happen to Mark Shkreli. So this is sort of like an analog that we can enjoy. The justice,
and most people won't think too deeply about it. They'll have a look at what's on the page and just be like, yeah, okay,
dude. Then why the fuck are we recording this? If people aren't going to think deeply about this shit, they're not going to take Tingle seriously.
No. We're here because people should think deeply about Tingle. We could just be the first step. We're not the be all, the end all. Merely the first. Untrained, definitely only ever spent a month at university, trained step.
Bollocks, we're the alpha, the omega, the DPAA is what we are, motherfucker.
I'm a goddamn chuckademic. Can you not see my glasses?
I got the fucking hoodie and everything.
The hoodie and everything. We should take this shit seriously. Because Chuck does.
Which is why for a book that takes you 30 minutes, maximum 30 minutes to read, we do an hour fucking recording every time. Anyway,
do you know what,
recommendation?
I think this one's a relatively... I think at the time it would have been like absolutely. I could recommend this to anyone. We're 7 years clear? 6 years? 6 years clear of the event. If it came up, I could probably recommend it still. But it's not one of the most straightforward ones to recommend because it's so like time and sort of context sensitive. But that said, like I think anything less than 3.5 is disgusting.
Agree.
So 3.621. Ooh. See, I didn't think a 1 was going to come out at the end there, but it did.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's maths.
Yeah. It's proven in the formula rather than in our hearts. So that's going to be, I think below 3.5 is wrong. I'm going to say 3.8.22. Put a Desmond on the end there. 3.8.322? No, too many points. There we go. 3.822.
Nice.
Cheeky little Desmond. So that's going to be 3.7215 out of 5.
Yeah.
And then we've got the reviewers tilt, the tingle tilt, the reviewers tilt. How much we liked it. I did enjoy it. I fucking thoroughly enjoyed this book.
I did. Yeah, it was. I mean, I ended up reading quite a lot of quite a lot the background for this one, which was very interesting. But that said, I feel like average. I feel like this is like bread and butter Tingle in a lot of ways.
It is. And it's my kind of favourite kind of Tingler because I really like those time snapshot stories, those real time focused ones. So that remind me of a meme or a joke or some stupid happening.
For sure. Yeah, it's. I mean, I would, because it's so like bread and butter. I would give it like right down the middle 2.5, but it's just the lines. There's just the lines just
so
keep
many great lines.
Just keep coming. They're just so good. Which it's got to bump it up to. Do you know what? A 3 level.
Level 3.
Level 3.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to push it up a little bit higher than that. I'm going to say probably a 3.75. So probably come right down to 3.5, won't it? 3.375 out of 5. Okay, so that's going to give us a final 4 score of 6.9. Hey, you got the sex number. 728 out of 10, which makes it... Give me 2 seconds. Oh, God, lag. I think I need a new computer. Sort by 4 score.
Oh, you got me on tenterhooks.
It was been a dick. Hang on, 2 secs.
Okay, let me make a prediction. Damn, because it's center, because it's so center of the pack. I think it's going to be near the black and blue dress.
Okay, it is number 14 out of 28 books, which puts it just below physical manifestation of washing my hands gets me off. That's 7.2, and just above open wide for the handsome saber-toothed dentist who is also a ghost, which is a book I don't remember.
Yeah. You don't remember?
I do not remember that one.
You don't remember that one?
Apparently not.
That was the one where it was kind of about quack medicine in the end, and when I went off on homeopathy a little bit.
Oh, yes, I remember now. So yeah,
because
it narrowly beat that by 2/100ths of a point.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fine. I can see that. I can absolutely see that. That makes sense to me.
And if you'd like to see the full scoreboard, you can go to our website, pottopicpodcast.com, where you'll also find all of the previous book clubs, a little podcast we haven't done for a while, but we used to do, and all our social media links and shit.
I just a warning, just in case, if you do go back to the really early ones, some of them are pretty rough. It used to be its own segment in a different podcast. We were often drunk.
We started recording these in the morning for a reason.
Yes, yeah, for sure. Cool. So join us next time then. If you've already done the socials readout.
Yeah,
there,
I thought that was pretty smooth until you pointed it out, but fuck you.
So join us next time where we will be reading Glazed by the Gay Living Donuts.
Glazed by the Gay Living Donuts. When I saw that title, I had to stop myself from reading it immediately. So
yeah, absolutely. I am excited for this one. This is going to be good.
What do we think this is going to be? Some kind of turnaround on capitalism versus small companies. So maybe Krispy Kreme's coming in to take over mum and pop shops.
It could.
He's so taken back. He's frozen again.
I've frozen again. But you know what? We're right at the end of the episode. I wonder if it might be about enjoying your food without feeling guilty about it.
Oh. Yeah, I
That's
quite like that.
that's a guest. But you know, donuts also like very much a symbol of America. I know that notice there's no police in the title, so it's not the whole police like to eat donuts thing. But yeah,
If
I
there
guess
isn't
we'll
a
just
sex,
have
if there isn't a sex scene where a man fucks a donut hole, I will be shocked.
to. Well, he's being glazed by the gay living. So hey, I think we're gonna as often our Chucktagonist is going to be right in the butt's heart of the action, the heart's butt of the action.
Nice.
But yeah, so yeah, we'll look forward to that next time on this show. But until then, whatever your way, whatever your trots, go forth into the timelines and prove that love is real.
Love is real.
Love is real. Bye. Oh man, there really was a lot of cut out on that mic, wasn't there? I did practice it and everything. Oh. Bye.